Today's episode is kind of special because we have, for the first time, one of our Gardener community members hosting the show. And it's really exciting to know that the person who's hosting is the youngest member of our Gardener community, Miss Trisha, who's a student of animation. And post COVID, actually, for the last 8 months, she has been very successfully harvesting organic compost in the apartment balcony, because most of us may think that it is a very messy affair. Trisha will share her experience and how successful she has been in all her harvests. So, Trisha, a very warm welcome to you. I'm really excited to have you here in this show. And we will have, as always, our expert, Dr. Bhatiyar Chaudhary. Over to you, Trisha.
Hi everyone, this is Trisha. I'm doing a 4-year graduation program in animation from Jawaharlal Nehru Architecture and Fine Arts University in Hyderabad, India. So, like most students, I've been at home since March. The COVID-19 lockdown really helped me reflect and action some of my long pending personal interests. And today I would be talking about one of them. It's really good to see so many participants. It's nice to see that all of you have taken the time out on a Sunday. I believe you've already made half the journey. Yeah, so I would first like to start with let's first understand what is compost. So, compost is a plant fertilizer made from decomposed natural and organic matter. So, in short, it is a natural plant fertilizer. So, there are different methods of composting. Vermicompost is one of the methods, one of the popular methods. I have chosen the aerobic method of composting. So similarly, there are also different composting units. I use a matka, an earthen pot, or a terracotta pot. Um, you could buy a plastic composting bin, or if you're passionate about upcycling, you could. If you're passionate about upcycling, you could reuse an old bucket or a water storage drum. That you'd be making the best use of it. So choose what's convenient as per the space you have. And the next important thing that I would be talking about is what actually goes into your compost. So there are essentially 4 elements. The first being brown waste or dry waste. I will be referring it to as brown waste from here onwards. The second one is wet waste. The third one is air. And fourth is microbes. So let's talk a little bit in detail about brown waste. So there are different forms of brown waste that you could use. Dried leaves is a good example. You could access it in your backyard or a community park. The second one that I like is also cocoa peat. It's a natural source that you can buy from a nursery. Ground coffee, which you can source from a cafe or a coffee shop, which they would otherwise throw, so they would be more than willing to give it to you. So now so brown waste actually forms the carbon component of your compost. Next is the second element, which is wet waste. Wet waste, essentially, if you're making compost at home, it would essentially consist of kitchen waste in the form of vegetable peels, fruit peels, roots, seeds, and garden waste is also a good example. So what I do is I've convinced my mom to segregate kitchen waste right at the source. So she stores it in a container on the kitchen platform. So once a day, I empty it into my composting unit. Okay, so next is the third element, which is air in the form of oxygen. If you're using a matka earthen pot or a terracotta pot like me, then you would have sufficient air circulation. Circulation is required for aerobic composting. But if you're using a plastic compost bin, then it would be required for you to drill tiny holes on it for air circulation. So the fourth element is the next element, which is microbes. Microbes essentially accelerates the process of composting. It reduces the time for waste to convert into compost to half the time. So what are the different types of microbes that you could use? Buttermilk, bioenzyme pulp, and remix powder, which you can buy online. My favorite would be compost from a previous batch. So now I'm going to quickly show you a demonstration of how to layer your compost in your fresh batch while making compost. So for demonstration, I'm using a glass container. So the first thing to add would be brown waste. I'm using cocoa peat and a mix of cocoa peat and dried leaves in the form of brown waste today. So the first layer would be brown waste. The second layer is kitchen waste. So this is kitchen waste from what my mom cooked today. So just add some as your second layer. You would have to add the whole thing in your compost, but just for the purpose of demonstration, I'm adding a little. Now at this point, during your fresh batch of compost, you can introduce microbes. Like I mentioned, microbes in the form of buttermilk, bioenzyme pulp, remix powder, or compost from an existing batch. So I'm going to be using compost from my previous batch as microbes. Again, this is an optional step. So I'm adding some microbes here. So mix the whole thing up. Brown waste, kitchen waste in the form of wet waste, and the microbes. Now, one thing to remember is to always make sure that brown waste is the top layer, should always be the top layer of your compost bin, covering all the green waste. Sorry, covering all the kitchen waste, the wet waste should be fully covered. So do the same process of layering every day. Don't do it multiple times a day, do it once, that would save you some time. Now, a couple of things to remember about your compost bin is to always make sure to cover your compost bin. And one more thing would be to not congest your compost bin. If you notice that the compost bin is full, don't stuff more waste into it. Make sure it's breathable. That's how it breaks down. Another interesting thing is that there's no compost without a few tiny harmless insects. They're your friends because it will help in quicker breakdown of the food particles. So now another important thing, it is the ratio of wet waste to brown waste. So what is the ratio for layering? So for a beginner, I would recommend a 1:1 ratio, which is 1 part of kitchen waste and 1 part of brown waste. But sometimes this kind of depends on the weather as well, the season. So if you find that your compost is a little smelly, that it simply means that you need to add more brown waste. Or sometimes your compost may feel too dry, which means it needs more moisture. So moisture in the form of kitchen waste, that would help. So composting is all about, constant learning, and you have to play it by the ear sometimes. So how do you know if your compost is ready? How would you know if your waste has been converted into compost? So this would take anywhere between 1 to 6 months, depending on the size of your composting unit and the season. So the breakdown of waste happens quicker during summer season and rainy season, slightly slower during winter season, I would say. So now comes harvesting. So once your waste, another way to see how when your compost is ready is, the smell of compost, it would smell earthy like petrichor. So I'm now going to talk about harvesting. So from your compost, once your compost is ready, from your compost bin, use a sieve like this. If you notice, my sieve is not very fine. It's broad, the spacing is broad. Use something similar. So take the compost from the pile, pass it through the sieve, put a newspaper underneath, and the smaller particles will quickly pass through the sieve. You can crush the bigger particles with your, the bigger chunks with your fingers, And the ones that still remain, the big pieces, go back into your compost, because it simply means that it will take slightly longer to break down. So the bigger pieces go back into your composting bin. Now I'd like to open it up for questions. You can go ahead and unmute yourself or type your questions in the chat box. Yes, hello Trisha, can we add earthworms to the compost? So vermicompost is, you add earthworms to a vermicompost, but aerobic composting doesn't require adding earthworms.
I will add one thing. Earthworms may not survive in regular composting because vermicomposting needed little more clarity, So your composition of the dry and wet compost should be very comfortable. Otherwise, what will happen? The earthworms die. So that's why vermicompost is slightly different and it has a very fixed period, and the vermicompost is better done on a wooden barrels or earth pits. No, but normal composting like Trisha shown, you can do anywhere. Yeah, over to Trisha.
There's a quick slide that you can see on your screen on how to harvest, quick pictures. So the first picture is a glimpse of my composting unit. The second one is where I am when my compost is ready and I'm passing the compost through the sieve. So the smaller particles fall down almost immediately. The fourth picture is where you can see me crush the compost. And the second last photo is the final black gold, which smells earthy.
Yeah.
I couldn't display. I couldn't use the screen sharing mode earlier. So this is also a picture of my composting unit. So this is in my apartment balcony. Like I mentioned, I bought mudcast from a local vendor and stacked it one on top of the other. So there are different methods of composting, and I have chosen the aerobic method of composting. Like I mentioned, there are different types of composting units, composting bins that you could buy based on your convenience. So a plastic compost bin would require, you would have to drill holes in it so that there is enough air circulation. There are four main elements that go into your compost: brown waste or dry waste.
Trisha, quick question, Trisha, Javed here.
Hi, uncle.
Hi. So do you also have to drill holes in the earthen composting pit bin which you are using, the pot?
That's a good question. So the earthen pot or a matka or terracotta is porous, so it wouldn't require any holes. It has enough air circulation, so that's not required.
Great, thank you.
No, sometimes you remove the top cap for couple of hours some days.
Yeah.
Okay, so that also fixes the
sometimes
air.
porosity will go because sometimes mud and clay will be there in the compost. So what you do, once in a while you remove the cover so that the noxious smells and these things also will go. Yeah.
And every new batch, maybe you can scrub the inside also a little bit so that anything which is remaining on the surface is also removed.
Yeah, if you use the same bins repeatedly, you may catch fungus sometimes.
Yeah, so maybe after each batch,
using the same container, take a handful of salt, clean it inside before you do it.
And then,
And also when you want to store your black gold, your pot and bag should be clean. Compost can also go bad because it has all materials which can make it go bad.
True.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions. It says, do we use only dry degradable waste or do we use wet waste too?
Both you already explained, no?
Yeah, I'll just probably share my screen so that you have a better understanding of the elements that go into compost. So there are four elements, which is brown waste or dry waste. The second is wet waste. Third is air, and fourth is microbes. So brown waste, you can use dried leaves, used ground coffee or cocoa peat. And wet waste, essentially you can use kitchen waste, which is kitchen scraps, vegetable and fruit peels. Look at the next question.
Trisha, I used because during the rains there weren't any brown leaves, so I'd use brown paper at the base and on the top.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, like I mentioned, a lot of people use newspaper, cardboard, and packaging paper. While there's no harm in using it, I would recommend that you use a natural source. I would recommend that you use something that cannot be recycled in other forms, like dried leaves. It's also a natural source that's found in abundance, even ground coffee or cocoa peat. That would also make your final compost more nutrient rich.
No, the one more thing. If you want, if you're, yesterday I saw my compost bin, big one it is. When you have a large quantity, you have problems. Like Trisha's quantity is very nice. If you want to make a big barrel of compost, then you need to move it up and down. Churning you have to do. You put one bamboo stick or something, or a pickaxe, and you try to keep doing. Otherwise, what will happen? Whatever wet you put, that wet will remains one day, it'll rot. So that is one thing. And when you want to use newspaper and a brown paper, definitely cut into pieces, shred. Actually, shredded paper can easily dissolve. If you fold newspaper and put it, it will remain for many months. And somebody asked question, how long it will take? Minimum is 12 weeks, 3 months onwards, you start seeing actually the compost forming. 6 months is the best time to see very, very good quality compost. Yeah, over to you.
Trisha, hi,
Yes.
this is Pragnya.
Hi,
Hi. Does it help to kind of churn or grind the kitchen waste? Does it make it faster? Because I saw you putting chunks of it.
Right. I would recommend that you either mince it, make it, churn it, but that would take some time. That would take a lot of time. You could chop it finely or shred it into smaller pieces. That would definitely help in quicker breakdown of waste to compost.
Okay, thanks.
Actually, we have no time, no, that's why we are doing this. So if you have a time, you can make a wonderful compost, make it into very small pieces. You're reducing the
That's
time of
true.
decomposition. Yeah, so you're right.
That's true.
Blending them would definitely add on, Pragnya.
Yes.
I think that would be composting
What I do
it
is,
much
I
better.
put
Yeah.
one bamboo stick as much as the length of the drum, So you put it at the bottom and you keep doing this. So bottom to up, bottom to up.
Yeah.
Very important. More
Correct.
quantity is trouble.
So what happens when you mince it or when you blend it is you won't have those chunky pieces. It'll fall. Your job will be easier when you harvest.
That's true. That's true.
True. Yeah, and it would be a little faster also. Plus, Trisha, I just wanted to check out, do you also recommend using the shreds, the cocoa, the outer layer shreds instead of cocoa peat? Maybe because cocoa peat may not be available with everyone. So, but the cocoa shreds is easily available.
Yeah,
the coir, the outer.
It's a
But
lot
the coir
longer.
will take long time. Coir has got a hard.
No, maybe I'll have to, maybe shred it a little further.
It
True.
takes around 1 year to break down coconut shell and coconut coir.
Not the shell, sorry.
Coir.
I just said shell, the coir, yeah.
Yes,
Shell
right.
would be
Coir is very
difficult.
difficult.
Yeah.
Coir is, it takes long time. It is woody basically.
Very long time.
Now I have one question, Trisha.
Yes, Uncle.
What can make your compost bad?
Too
Lot of
much
people compose.
moisture, too much of wet waste
Yeah.
can make your.
And what you should not use in compost. That is very important because people
Correct.
think anything is,
Yeah.
jhadu wali or whatever you jhadu, everything they want to put inside. It's not a dustbin.
Yeah.
Compost
So-
bin is not a dustbin.
Yeah. The first thing is there's no space, there's no way that you can add any plastics to your compost bin. Second being any greasy substances like cooked food or leftover food. That's a total no.
They will
If you-
attract a lot of insects. They
Right.
will attract a lot of microbes, insects.
Yes, and if you eat non-veg, then adding bones would take a lot longer to degrade.
Mm.
No, but there is one advantage. Your bone pieces, if they're small, they can go in compost. They will add like a bone meal. There is no harm in putting bone pieces. Let them be big, no problem. Only thing is, if you put a hand, you might get injured. The longer bones, sharper bones. But bones remaining in the compost, there's no harm, because as it is, we try to add bone meal to the plants. Eggshell
Yeah.
can be added. Eggshell will enrich your compost.
There's a question
Don't
here.
add don't add all meat products. Your meat is spoiled in your fridge, don't put it in the compost. Your compost is finished. Or spoiled milk, anything which is rot and spoiled, don't put. Vegetables, yes, to a certain extent,
Fine vegetables,
because
yeah.
that itself is a process of decomposition. But meats and everything, they'll attract a lot of microbes which kill this our friendly microbes in the compost. That is a problem. So you're creating a war in the compost.
Yeah.
No
So if
dung, dog. Lot of people who have a dog shit, they just clean it in the kachra and they put it in the compost. No, that will spoil your compost.
Question, does this help flowering plants to produce buds or flowers? Doctor, I think you may take this.
Yeah.
compost,
See, compost is actually a rich soil. It is not a manure for a particular purpose. You should understand that. Compost is not going to be a rich in potassium unless you want to add something. For flowers and fruits, you need more potassium, less of nitrogen and phosphorus. So you have to use a NPK 0030 or 0060. Note down. If you want all your plants to flower and bloom, you should know the season of flowering and blooming. Before that, apart from normal NPK, you add high potassium or direct potash you get. You add little bit. So normal compost cannot guarantee that it is a overall nutrition. It has no special one single nutrient to give the plants. Okay.
there's a
Okay,
question.
the next question is, how long does it take for compost to form? I think you answered this, right?
6 months already.
Yeah.
6 months.
Okay.
It has 3 to 6 months.
This depends on the size of your compost bin. It'll take it, and if you add microbes, that will accelerate the process. So anywhere between 1 to 6 months.
Yeah. Smaller is faster.
Okay, for microbes, can we add plain milk? How to prepare the buttermilk?
So for microbes, a small quantity of buttermilk. So take some curd and dilute it with water, just a small amount, maybe like 2 tablespoons.
See, the question is why you want to put buttermilk and why not milk?
Okay.
Because lactose sporogens is a bacteria which helps in fermentation. Fermentation is one of the forms of decomposition and composition. So that's why you must milk also have to become curd and buttermilk inside your compost. So you are adding an extra step. So best is to add your curd and buttermilk along with your milk if you are left over. इधर तो पीने के लिए दूध नहीं, कंपोस्ट में कहाँ डालोगे?
Okay.
Not
Okay,
economic. Yeah.
Okay, could we use cow dung as brown waste?
Cow dung is
Dried
actually
one.
a good microbe.
Yeah, dried one.
Dried cow dung, yeah.
Old one dried, bilkul, it will be like a cakes, dry cakes, absolutely dry, more than 1 year old. It will be like a more of brown. It has no microbes actually. Only it has to again get marinated and then produce microbes. Yes, you can use. Brown. So why you have to add brown? When your compost goes too wetty, cloggy compost is very, very, very bad. It will stink. It will attract a lot of flies, maggots, everything. So you cut the newspaper, shred it, phad ke then put it, and then churn it, and open the. See, lack of aeration also make the compost cloggy. Lot of wet it become too wet. So it should have some air. Sometimes at least remove the bin cover for at least couple of hours, or some days you remove, some days you cover. Yeah.
Trisha, I have a question.
Hi.
Aruna here. Hi.
Aruna.
So I heard you say that we could use, used coffee, ground coffee. So did you mean that the one that we already used for making decoction, or I didn't get that.
The one that's already used. So at cafes, they get a lot of like tea leaf, similar
Hello.
aspect. So you could, at cafes, they simply throw it at the end of the day. You could go and collect it and use that as your brown waste. So it's used ground coffee.
Okay.
So you're making a
What about
the
use
best
tea
use of
leaf?
yeah, you
Tea
could also
leaves, tea leaves, coffee grounds are a similar pattern. They are basically leftover leaves and the powder. So it is not actually, don't buy coffee and put it in the compost bin. It is a leftover. Whatever left. See, the whole idea of composting is leftover products. We are not going to
making
buy it.
But not the boiled one or used, you know.
Yeah, yeah, boiled one.
used one.
Tea
After
leaf,
your
boiled
decoction,
one can be
what
used.
powder. That is
Got it. I lost you for a second in between, so couldn't hear that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So cafes and coffee shops actually throw it after serving coffee. They throw the coffee ground. So that's an easy way to source your coffee ground for free.
Yeah, one
I think
somebody is asking
I have used.
whether
I have
sugar.
used.
1 second. Sugar with sugar tea leaves or without sugar tea leaves? Diabetic or non-diabetic tea leaves?
You can
All
add
sugar.
anything. You can add
Anything.
both.
Sugar will help it actually. Sugar will help for the bacteria to decompose faster.
So I see a question which says, how do you avoid lizards? So insects get attracted to your compost if it's a little smelly, if it's too smelly. The first thing you need to do is to add more brown waste. Another way to keep lizards at bay would be to place an eggshell right on top of the lid. That would help to a certain extent.
And you can put garlic, crushed garlic pieces around it. All lizards and many insects will go away. Nobody likes the smell of a phosphorus. That same thing will have an eggshell also. Eggshell and garlic. Many insects and small things. Even rats also will go. You put a lot of garlic. Only thing your house will smell of garlic. Otherwise, all of them will run away from garlic. Garlic, neem oil, camphor. These are all the irritants, and they drive away the insects.
So you could splash a few drops of neem oil or citronella oil around your compost or on the lid, or sometimes even inside the compost. That will actually keep lizards and big insects at bay.
Now, one question: do you add water to your compost?
So if your compost feels too dry, the best way to add moisture to it would be by adding wet waste. But if that's not available, then you can put a few drops of water.
Ideally, what you do if you have too much of chunk, add a small glass of water and then churn it, because depending on the composition, many times it may become wet. Normally it becomes wet because kitchen waste is always wet. But if you are trying to keep your bamboo leaves, dry leaves, like in my garden, always my compost is more of dry because I have a lot of leaves every day. So I need to add some cow dung sometimes or vermicompost powder sometime and add some water so that to make it a little bit more comfortable.
So Vinita had asked, should we create the layers day after day until the bin is done, or should we fill one bin everything? So the layering that I had shown, equal proportions, 1:1 ratio of brown waste and kitchen waste. You have to repeat the layering every single time you want to fill the compost, your compost pile, making sure that brown waste is always the top layer, covering the kitchen waste completely.
That will prevent your insects and other thing. It will keep a coverage. See how the composting happens. There is an internal temperature goes up. So that's why you need that covering. The temperature in the compost is almost 50 degrees, 45 degrees. It is very, very hot if you put your hand. That's how the breakdown happens. A lot of catabolic activity goes on. Yeah, good.
Any other questions?
Yeah. There's this question. My compost bin got little white worms, and is that okay?
So I think that must be maggots.
Yeah.
So that usually comes.
Maggots is you put a half a kilo of salt.
Where do we add the salt?
in the
Add,
compost.
add on that white area in your bin and just mix it.
Okay.
Your maggots will go away. Or put
Okay.
some garlic. They'll all just go away.
So
Okay,
this
what
is,
about, you also said we can use newspaper, but newspaper has this chemical ink. Is that not dangerous? I mean, does it have any
It's
negative
okay,
effect?
I think a little bit, but not so much.
yeah, I would
But,
actually
but
recommend
remember,
that.
remember, we are not using newspaper as a major source of compost. It is only a sometime alternative for your dry waste.
Yeah.
So you are
Would,
not, if you have whole big bin, a lot of newspaper, it is actually newspaper is not going to dissolve so easily also. It takes more time. Yeah,
yeah.
Trisha said something.
I would actually recommend that you find other natural forms of brown waste, because newspaper can be recycled anyway in other forms, newspaper and cardboard. So try putting things in your compost that cannot be recycled in other forms.
Correct.
Like I mentioned, it makes your final compost, more nutrient rich.
Yeah. Okay, there's a question whether the hole should be made at the bottom or the sides of the bin.
So if your compost bin looks, you can make holes all around in a pattern, and also a hole or two at the bottom as well. You can do both.
No, that depends upon the size of the compost bin. If the large quantity, the lot of fluid also is going to form. It is better to have a small hole in the bottom. Okay. If a smaller bins, depending on the material we are putting it, if it's too liquidy you're putting, then you need to drain that water away. So that's why what she said is layering is very important, but it may not be possible. So whenever there is a possibility, you put. If there's too much of paper you see, so next time you try to put more of kitchen waste or banana peels, fruit peels, vegetable peels, all those things you try to put it. And if still it's dry, pour some water.
Shweta asks, are we allowed to put rotten vegetables and veggie scraps only from kitchen waste?
No,
That's
from outside also.
Yeah,
Hotel
that is
also
a
you can put.
form of wet waste. That's a form of
Yeah.
wet waste that you can add to your compost. Remember to have an equal proportion of wet waste and brown waste. So I have three more things to talk about. One would be that while I was doing a lot of research about composting, I chanced upon this brand called Daily Dump, which is like a one-stop shop for all your composting needs, including compost units, compost bins, and remix powder, which I mentioned as a microbe. I would highly recommend all of you to check their website and Instagram page. They make composting easy. Secondly, I have documented my composting journey step by step. I have shared the file with Sahira Aunty. She will share it with all of
Yes,
you
I will do
in
that. I will do that
Yeah.
tomorrow on all the social media platforms and the Garden Yard group. Certainly.
So lastly, a personal experience actually. So until recently, I would get very upset and I couldn't wrap my arms around why, every family doesn't compost. It took me a while, and now I've learned that there are two categories of people. People who are composting and people who are yet to compost. So now I'm hoping that after this session, most of you would be in the former category.
Yes.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Hey, there are two questions here. Can garlic be used to keep away fruit flies while collecting the kitchen waste?
Yes, it does. It does. Garlic helps.
And the other question is, can we add a fine layer of soil after every layering?
Soil, yeah, you can. Soil again comes under brown waste, but a thin, just a very thin.
Not every layer, not every layer. You just watch the overall, the color of the compost. See the compost color, slowly, light yellowish to creamish to brownish to dark brown. It is ultimately should lead to the soil color. If it is not happening 3-4 months, there is something wrong. Maybe you need to add some wet or dry or water or cow dung or some manure. So you can creatively, because each one's compost mechanism moves differently.
Anything else? Any other questions?
You have
And
done a
No questions,
wonderful
Trisha.
thing.
Very well conducted. Yes.
You
Very
open
well,
a school now.
very well
School of
conducted,
compost.
Trisha, for the first webinar. Awesome. Too good a job.
Schools She's going to open a school of compost.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt.
Why not? These are the answer.
You are taking us around to your unit, right?
I'll show you a photo of my compost. It's actually become very dark. The sun has set, so I won't be able to take you there, but I can.
I think you
show
share your
photo-
photographs.
Right.
Sharing
Yeah.
photographs is better.
Correct. I will. I'm just trying to share my screen. So that's a photo of my composting unit in a balcony. So somebody had asked where to keep the your composting unit. Someplace open, a balcony or a terrace, or if you have a garden. If you're living in an independent house somewhere in your backyard, where there's ample exposure to air, not a closed place, air, sunlight, sometimes even rain. Somebody says, Priyanka says direct sunlight. Yeah, sometimes exposure to direct sunlight of your composting unit is fine. It definitely helps in breakdown of your waste. But then you will also, slightly have to change the proportions. You'll have to make your composting unit a little more moist, so add more wet waste when compared to brown waste. I, I can take more questions if you have anything.
Yeah, if there
Else
are
to
any more, I think we can take a couple of them, otherwise we'll close.
Your presentation so clear and good.
Yeah,
I think
thank
a
you,
lot
Uncle.
of questions have been answered during the session
Answered.
itself.
Yes.
There were a whole lot of questions that you handled.
Question from Shweta: how to churn the pot if they are kept one on top of the other? So the purpose
Put
of
it
having
down.
three composts. One second, let me just share my screen to explain. So the purpose of having stacking compost bins one on top of the other is when the first one gets filled, that goes to the very bottom, so you don't have to touch it for the next 3 to 6 months. You keep filling each one and it goes from top to bottom. And if you want to stir it, if you want to mix it, then you'll have to pick it up and place it down. Having more pots means generating more compost. So I don't see not composting as an option. Once I've started, there's no stopping. So I try and ensure that I have empty compost units, which is why I have so many which is why I have so many pots at home. But if you have a big drum, you can put it all together in one unit.
You should, Trisha, you should also mention that each of that pot is a single unit in itself.
Yes, each of the
Yeah.
correct is hole or anything. Each pot is a separate bin. So if the first one gets filled, I use another pot as a fresh to start a fresh batch.
We do have a FB page and Instagram account, gardenyard at the rate gmail.com. That's a Gmail ID, and also at the rate garden.yard. I have put it in the chat box. You could visit the page and the Insta handle you can follow. And we do have Garden Yard community. We have a group of 50 members as of now. Our community in the last few weeks has become a 50-member Garden Yard community where people share their pictures of their plants and also post their questions and queries on various garden related issues. So those of you who are interested, you could just follow the Insta handle, and you can also send me the number. I'm sharing my number in the chat box so that you can become a member of Garden Yard community. And yes, very good job done, Trisha. You really made me proud. She's our first green ambassador, and she's done a superb job.
I would like to thank Sahira Auntie and Dr. Bhakti to share my experience with all of you.
Oh, thank you. You've done very well, actually. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, there are still
Very
some
nice.
questions coming in. What is the frequency of adding compost to soil?
Yes, actually now this is very important. Compost is a alternative to soil, but doesn't mean you grow plants directly in compost. It should be ideally used on a topsoil. Or if you want to use it, you can use it as a soil mix. Like normally we mix in soil various things, sand and a little bit of animal compost. So instead of other compost, instead of vermicompost, you can use this compost as a part of soil mix or a topping of the old pots. You could top up the pots anytime, any frequency. You can topping up anytime you could do.
Okay,
Is it clear?
there's a question which is not related to compost. Compost. It's from Mr. Datta. My chili plant has grown but not flowering. So what shall I do? The plant is in well sunlit area.
You add little bit of potassium. You buy potash. You just Google it. Potassium for plants. You get a potassium supplement. Little bit you put, it will flower and bloom. I hope, yeah, the season is still there, so it will bloom. No problem. If there is a potassium and iron calcium deficiency, plants won't bloom. Even a very healthy looking plant may not go for blooming. So add little bit potash. Okay.
Is that directly, or does it need to be mixed with something?
Soil, in the soil, very little. Most of the potassium supplements for plants have directions written on it. You add very little far away from the main trunk of the plant in the soil. And you can add once in 15 days till flower fruits come. After that, potassium reduce and then use only NPK, normal manure, organic or inorganic. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So somebody asks, what is the difference between compost and fertilizer? So compost is a natural plant fertilizer made up of decayed natural and organic matter. So it's natural, chemical free.
Actually, in the nature, the soil itself is a compost only, Trees and various materials fall and the bacteria will invade them, break them. Yeah, most of the soils where plants grow, they all have compost in between. Natural degradation and to improve the soil quality. If you go in the forest, you will have a forest floor with where the new seedlings can grow very easily. See, that is a compost. Compost we are just doing because we are producing a lot of unnecessary material in the kitchen and the house. So we're trying to recycle in the form of compost.
And also to not contribute to the landfill.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I think we are done with the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Lots of
Trisha.
questions
You
there.
have left, there are two takeaways from this. Number one, what a student can do towards, conserving environment and doing a lot of things, irrespective of where you stay, whether it's a small one-bedroom apartment or a bungalow. Second is that, yes, a lot of kitchen waste is generated every day, and we can definitely reuse it to get it back into our own garden. So awesome, Trisha. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for being here. See you next Sunday for another episode by Trisha.
Welcome all green yars.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor. Thank you for answering all the questions.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Good night. Take care.
Bye.